actually was born in California, Oakland, California. My parents got divorced when I was 5, so we relocated to Flint, Michigan, where I had an aunt living there. I grew up there. I stayed in Flint until I was probably about 16. From 16 to 18, I was in Arkansas, Fort Smith, Arkansas. From there, I joined the Army. I stayed in the Army for 4 years. And then I got out and used my GI Bill, went to school. I got an associate's in paralegal, bachelor's in criminal justice. And then I worked for about 8 to 10 years, and then I went back into the military. So now I'm active duty Navy. I've been in the Navy for 11 years. I have 4 more to go before I retire. I have 1 child, 1 grandchild, and when I leave San Antonio in 2020, I'll have 1 more duty station before I retire.
I am curious about how all that is expressed in who you are today.
What did you say?
Like, I'm curious about, how all the things you just say, how is it expressed to who you are today?
How does it
contribute to who you are today?
Everything I just told you?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I have to say all the experiences that I got changed me. I mean, I think, military makes you more structured, makes you more disciplined. Education makes you think outside of the box, makes you think differently than what you already know. And of course, being a parent, also changes you in a way to make you, I don't know, be a little bit more sensitive to people's needs, caring, and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, basically, the idea of this project is to share a time when you experienced racism, and why do you want to share it?
Okay, so I can't really think of a time that I just felt like I was being discriminated against. I'm sure I probably have in small ways where I felt like maybe I wasn't promoted because of, not only being black, but also because of my complexion. But I don't have proof of it. But I've never been blatantly where I just felt like, oh my God, I've just been discriminated against. I've known people who have, but I haven't. I'm here because I was at the MLK March. And there was someone approached me with one of the little cards or the flyers, and I told him, I can't think of a time, and he was like, well, just still come on by. So I came because, why not? I thought maybe I could learn something or get something. I don't know. I just wanted to see what the experience would be like, but I can't really come up with, when I grew up in Flint, it was predominantly black, like where I grew up. I think it was 1 white person in my entire class. So I've always grown up mostly in kind of a black environment, and then when I did move to Arkansas, there were white there, but it was my last few years, and I mean, I felt like it was a little bit of unequal in the military when I first came in and stuff like that, but as far as just deliberate feeling like I've been discriminated against, I just can't pinpoint a time where I was just like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So basically, racism is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your view on it, and especially being a black woman in the Army and the Navy? Like, did that affect you in any way?
You always feel a little bit like you have to do a little bit more, not only as a minority, but as a woman, it's like double. You know what I mean? Because even if I wasn't black, I'd always felt like that I'd have to do a little bit more as a female, because it's military is male dominated, and it's getting better, but it's male dominated. So there's always that feeling of things not being as fair, but you don't know which one to attribute it to. Is it to my color? Is it to my race? Is it towards me being a female? So I always do feel like I have to work a little harder, do a little bit more, and even sometimes feeling like you can't express yourself the way you want to, because then you'll be considered an angry black woman or stereotype. So there's all that. There's all that.
You mentioned earlier you had 1 child. Is
Mm-hmm.
it
Girl.
A girl?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you ever had the talk? I'm talking about the talk where you're feeling racism, how to survive being a black girl in someday will become a black woman?
No, I can't remember doing that. The only time I can remember us having any kind of conversations like that is when a lot of the police brutality stuff was going on. But she was already an adult by then. But as far as a kid, no, I just kind of kept it out and just kind of, I didn't want to bring it to the surface. Now, if she would have came to me about something like she felt like, but I do, the closest thing I remember coming, thinking about with that is, I remember, and this is horrible, I shouldn't even tell this story. I'm gonna tell you anyway. It's not positive though. So I remember one time she was outside playing and I think some little white kids were picking on her or whatnot. And I said, and she wasn't, she's not very, she's not very forceful or anything like that. So I said, you go out there and you just pretend like you can do something. I said, since people always think, have a stereotype about black people, go out there and just start rolling your neck and talking. I said, and because that's what they expect anyway, then you won't have to fight. Because she never wanted to fight. And I don't condone it, but at the same time, I don't want people to pick on you. And I just told her that was a good mechanism to use to keep from having to fight, because they already kind of view, us in a certain way, so why not use that to your benefit? But that's probably about it. I can't think of any other time where I've had to, I never brought it up, but had she brought it to me, we would have had the conversation. But I didn't want to put it there if it wasn't already there, if it wasn't something that she was experiencing.
Okay. Obviously I'm guessing you're a social activist because you were at the MK March, so this is just gonna talk about, your social justice, how do you pursue it? So the first question is, what societal changes do you think that need to happen regarding race relations?
I don't think that we as black people can do it by ourselves. And although we would love to, the only way that it's going to work is if everybody is doing it, because we're not heard alone. But I just feel like when other races join the fight, it starts to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? So if it's just 10 black people protesting, you're gonna get arrested, you're gonna get beat up, you're gonna be considered to be negative. But if 10 white people join the fight, you're just not gonna get all of that. So I think that the only way that race relations can be fixed is when everybody unites, period.
Do you think it should be the same or in a different way when compared to the past?
I'm gonna say in a different way, because marching and all of that doesn't seem to work. It has to be people. If I say I didn't get that job because I'm black, then they're going, here she goes playing the race card. But if a white person says, that's not right, you didn't give her that job because she was black, and things are just going to change. It just has to be that way. It has to be more people of other races stepping up, saying they see it, and joining in the fight. Marches and stuff, not so much. But it just has to be people stepping up, almost like a bully, you know what I mean? It has to be somebody stepping up and stepping in, and then things will change. Other than that, I just don't see it.
Do you think there's a generational difference in how people see racism, like back in the past with your mother's generation and your generation and your dad's generation?
That they see it different?
Yes, there's a difference.
Yeah, I think it's more, I don't think that your generation will see it as much, because now you got things like music and culture is starting to blend. So things that people used to say, that's white or that's black, you sound white, you sound black. Everything is just merged now. There's no such thing as that. If somebody is black and they talk white, that's not white, that's proper, there's nothing wrong with it. So I think that because your generation is, you guys are more into I don't know, I just feel like the cultures are starting to blend because of music and fashion and TV shows. You're starting to see more black people on TV, Hispanic people. So I think there's a huge difference.
Do you think there's a generational difference of how people handle racism now versus the past?
Yeah, I think it's more hidden. I don't think people are as more open with it. I think people hide it.
Now?
Back then, you could call somebody nigger or a boy, and it was fine. But now, people are racist, but at least they hide it. You know, they do it at home because you can't, like, you know, there's racist people in the military, I'm sure, but they can't say nigger and they can't show favoritisms. It's there. People just hide it. Back then, you couldn't. You could be racist. You could say, I don't want that boy working here. But now you can't. Like, everything is more about equality. So back then, no one cared and everybody was okay with it. But now it's something that you better hide or else you're gonna be fired. You're gonna be, you know, well, it depends on.
Are you hopeful for the future?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now we're gonna talk about spirituality and religion. So how does your religion tradition address the issue of race?
I'm not really attached to a specific religion. I'm kind of non-denominational. So I don't have an answer for that because I'm not, you know, I'm not saying I'm not religious. I'm just saying I don't go to church and I don't have, you know, a group of people when we talk about race relations.
Do you believe there's a role for faith or church addressing racism? Like, should the black church get more involved into politics?
That they should?
Yeah.
No. I think it's a personal choice. I think everybody should, you know, I think they should get more involved in like family and helping and, you know, if people are homeless or need food and stuff like that. But as far as politics, I think that's just a personal individual choice and everybody should just, I don't think that should bleed into church personally.
Is there anything else you'd like to share at this time? Anything that I failed to mention?
Can't think of anything.
Do you have any advice for my generation who's right now taking a stand, fighting in every way we can think of?
I would say don't divide. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like, I mean, I think there are groups where it's like, you know, black and, you know, everybody unites and stuff because they can, you know, learn from each other. But I think when it comes to race relations, it should be everybody, not just black, not just white, not just everybody, because that's the only way that's going to change.
Do you think talking about racism more often will kind of help to solve the issue? Because a lot of people are scared talking about, especially white people. You think if everybody comes together and say, okay, let's just talk about race, let's figure this out?
I don't, probably a little, but, you know, people are just afraid to do it. People are afraid to offend. That topic is heated, just kind of like religion. I think that when people can start to see what we go through, then they'll understand it. I mean, because we can talk about it all day long, and it's just going to sound to them like we're complaining because they haven't experienced it. I think they need to experience it. They need to be more involved. They need to be in the car with you when you get pulled over from the police. They need to be in the mall with you when somebody says, hey, you stole that. They need to be standing there when somebody is videotaping you because you didn't do anything wrong. When they start seeing stuff, that's what's going to change. But sitting in a room talking about it, nah, you're just going to have a bunch of people complaining. No, it's just going to turn into a big mess. I think people need to start posting on TV more of how white privilege exists. People they need to see it. When they see it, then they'll be able to embrace it. But just talking about it in the room, nah.